Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to a new live stream. Hi, how are you guys? Welcome to a new live stream. Today we are going to talk about five common Spanish phrases, and we will learn how to use them. We will learn what they mean and more for sure. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I want to give a big shout out to our Cafecito members. Great at Work, Janko Juan, Regulation D, Brianna L, Nick Ross, Robert Green, Michael Lee, Gregory Ramirez, Ruby Brockenberry, Christopher Michael, and David Beaver. Thank you guys. The cafecito está delicioso. El cafecito está muy delicioso. Muchas gracias por el apoyo. If you want me to give you a shout out and to get some perks, some interesting perks, you can actually get a membership on this channel. And if you want to learn more about that, just click on the join button down below. Thank you again, Cafecito members. Okay. So remember that I'm live streaming, so you can use the live chat if you have any questions. If you want to say hola, if you want to practice your Spanish, you can use the live chat for that, for sure. And the only thing you gotta do is you need to be a subscriber. So that's for free. You can subscribe for free and just click on the subscribe button somewhere down below, I believe. I see Hassan. Hassan is here. Welcome. Hola. ¿Qué onda? Buenas noches. Buenas noches, Hassan. ¿Cómo te va? Espero que todo vaya excelente. Welcome. Okay, so let's talk about these 5 different very common phrases in Spanish, and this is episode number 12. So if you want to watch previous episodes, just feel free to browse my channel. And yeah, 12 episodes already. Time flies. Excellent. Okay, so let's learn the first one. Let's learn the first phrase. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. The first phrase is por si acaso. Por si acaso. Por si acaso. Hello, Janko Juan, welcome. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? Welcome. Okay, por si acaso. Por si acaso. This means just in case. Just in case. So this is a very common phrase, just like you say in English, sorry, not in Spanish. It's a common English phrase, just in case, right? Just in case you need something, you bring that something with you. So it's the same case for this phrase, por si acaso. Por si acaso. So por, the word por, means for or by. Okay, depends on the situation. Si, without the accent mark, means if. Acaso is it's a very good word that means perhaps. In some situations means perhaps, and there's also no direct translation, but you are using it in a very peculiar situation, where you're asking more about certain situation. For example, ¿acaso no te acuerdas que te toca pagar? Acaso, that's the first word that I said, and it's like saying perhaps you forgot that you need to pay this time. It's it's a simple example, but it's like very similar to perhaps, maybe, you know. But if you want to say just in case in Spanish, then por si acaso is the phrase that you want to say. Okay, so let's remember that, even though every single word means something specifically, the whole phrase is a complete different meaning. You know, as a phrase, it means just in case. So let's look at some examples using this phrase. By the way, you don't have to worry about feminine, masculine, plural, singular, any verb conjugation. You don't have to worry about that because that phrase stays as is, you know, you don't change it. You don't have to change it. So let's look at some examples. The first example is, voy a llevar un suéter. Voy a llevar un suéter. Por si acaso. Por si acaso. So essentially, you're saying what you're going to do just in case, right? And you can add the phrase por si acaso, just in case. So the meaning of this sentence is, I'm going to bring a sweater just in case. Just in case it gets cold outside, you know, it happens. I always do that. I always bring a sweater with me because some stores are really cold, or, you know, places can be cold, outside can be cold. So I just don't like feeling cold. So just in case, I'm bringing a sweater with me pretty much all the time. Por si acaso. Okay, so let's break this down and let's see how this sentence works. Voy means specifically voy a. We have to include those two words. Voy a means I'm going to do something. Okay, I'm going to do something. We're not saying what yet. Okay, but if you want to say I'm going to ... you can say voy a ... Okay, so llevar. The next thing you gotta do is add a verb. Voy a comer. I'm going to eat. Voy a llevar. I'm going to bring. Okay. Voy a correr. I'm going to run. Voy a leer. I'm going to read. Okay. So remember, if you want to add a verb right after voy a, it has to be in the infinitive form. So the verb has to be not conjugated. Don't conjugate the verb, essentially. That's what I'm talking about. Un, a, suéter. Remember the accent mark? Suéter. That means sweater. Those two words, suéter, sweater, are quite similar. And then we have por si acaso. Just in case. Voy a llevar un suéter por si acaso. I'm going to bring a sweater just in case. Okay. Of course, you can add more to that. Just in case it's cold outside. Por si acaso hace frío afuera. Okay. So you can add more, but you can just say por si acaso. Okay. Just like that. Just in case, you know, I need this, or it's cold outside, or whatever reason. Okay. Excellent. Now let's look at another example using por si acaso. Okay. The next example is, ¿sabes si va a llover? ¿Sabes si va a llover? No sé, pero lleva paraguas, un paraguas, por si acaso. ¿Sabes si va a llover? No sé, pero lleva un paraguas por si acaso. I think we need a comma here. There you go. So this could be two people talking. The question, someone asks, ¿sabes si va a llover? Okay. And then the other person can say, no sé, pero lleva un paraguas por si acaso. Okay. So the meaning of this is, do you know if it's going to rain? I don't know. Oops, you cannot see that. Sorry about that. I don't know. But take an umbrella just in case. Take an umbrella with you just in case. Okay? So, just in case it rains. It can happen. It can happen. So, the question, ¿sabes? ¿Sabes? If you start a question, start off by saying ¿sabes? That means, do you know? It's informal. If you want to make it formal, just remove the letter S. Sabe. Sabe. Okay? But it's informal. You say this to your friend, to your family, to someone who you are comfortable with. Sabes. Okay? Sabes. Do you know? Si, without the accent mark, means if. Okay? If. Va a means it's going to. Okay? It's going to. Va a. Llover. Llover means rain. Okay? This is a verb as well. You can just say by itself, va a llover, and that means it's going to rain. That can be something you can say if you see that it's going to rain for sure. But if you want to ask, do you know if it's going to rain? Then you can say, ¿sabes si va a llover? And then this is the answer. No sé. No sé means I don't know. So you can use that phrase, that little phrase, to just say, I don't know. Okay? No sé, just by itself or as a part of a sentence. Pero means but. Lleva, tú lleva. We are not saying tú, which means you. Okay? Lleva. It's like a command, do this, right? Lleva un paraguas. Lleva un paraguas. So lleva means take. Okay? Lleva las llaves. Take the keys with you. You're essentially saying take something with you. Lleva un suéter. Take a sweater with you. Okay? So lleva is very useful for sure. Un means an. Paraguas. Paraguas means umbrella. You can also say sombrilla or paraguas, okay? And then we have the phrase we're learning, por si acaso. Por si acaso, who knows, right? Maybe it's gonna rain. You have to take that umbrella just in case. Just in case. So remember, por si acaso means just in case. Just in case. It can be used by itself, just to say just in case, or you can add it to a whole sentence, usually at the end, but it can be flexible. You can say, por si acaso, lleva un paraguas, okay? Por si acaso, lleva un paraguas. Just in case, take an umbrella with you, okay? Excellent. Excellent. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions? Just in case. Por si acaso. Man, it's a good phrase. That's a good phrase. Very common. Okay. Let's continue. Let's see what we have here now. Phrase number 2. Frase número 2. Okay. Vale la pena. Vale la pena. What is the meaning in, what is ten meaning in ten cuidado? Ten cuidado. Ten cuidado. It's a phrase. I would say the whole thing, ten cuidado, means be careful. Ten cuidado. But ten it comes from a verb that, from the verb tener. Okay, just let me see exactly. Yeah, ten comes from the verb tener, which means to have. Okay, yo tengo, tú tienes, él tiene, nosotros tenemos. Ten is a command, so it's imperative. It's an imperative form of tener. Okay, so imperative mood. It's a command that means, it depends what you want to say, because if you're saying ten cuidado, that means just be careful. Ten esto. If you say ten esto, it's similar to saying here, take this. Okay, so ten can mean take something. Okay, but you have to pay attention to the whole phrase, to the whole sentence. If you say ten cuidado, that means be careful. Okay, that's a great question. Thanks for asking, Janko Juan. Excellent. Okay, so let's move on. Vale la pena. Vale la pena. Phrase number 2, vale la pena. Vale la pena means it's worth it. When something is worth it, you can use this phrase to express that. That's worth it. The trip was worth it. Or anything that you think it's worth it. Okay, to do or to see or to read or to eat or, anything. Vale la pena can be used by itself, or you can add it to a sentence as well. It can be part of a sentence. So vale, it's the literal translation is a bit interesting, because vale can be an expression by itself in Spain. And when you say to someone vale, it's like saying okay, vale. It's like saying yes, but similar to okay. So that by itself is an expression. But vale comes from the verb valer, which means to be worth. Okay, to be worth, I don't know, a fortune, for example, or you're talking about the cost of something. Vale 10 pesos. It costs 10 pesos. Okay, so valer is a very good verb. It means a few things, but essentially valer means to be worth or to cost. Okay, la, the, feminine article, la, the. Pena can mean a few things as well. Pena can feel shame. Okay, it can be part of an expression that means, I don't know, that you feel shame or that you feel sad that something happened. Okay, so pena can mean a few things, but it means pity or shame, essentially. Now, as a phrase, vale la pena, remember, that means it's worth it. Okay, it's very similar to saying that. Now, let's look at some examples using vale la pena. By the way, you don't have to worry about conjugating. Well, it depends. You can say valen if you're talking, about more than one thing. Okay, valen la pena. But if it's a singular situation, then vale la pena. Okay, excellent. So let me show you some examples. The first example is, vale la pena ver la película. Vale la pena ver la película. This means the movie is worth watching. Okay, so this is a bit different than it's worth it, because if you use vale la pena by itself, then it means it's worth it. But if you want it to be part of a sentence, then it's similar to saying worth doing something, or worth watching, worth eating, worth, etc. You can add different things there, but essentially you're saying you should do it because it's worth it. Okay? Excellent. So, vale la pena. That's the phrase we're learning. Similar to saying worth. Okay? Something is worth. Ver, watching. So if you want to say vale la pena and then add a verb, you will add a verb in the infinitive form. So don't conjugate it, okay? Vale la pena comer el pastel. The cake is worth eating, Vale la pena ver. Ver can mean to watch, to see, to look at as well. So in this situation, watching, okay? The película, movie. So there's no is here, but when you say vale la pena, you're already saying that something is worth doing, okay? Something is worth doing. So vale la pena ver, it's worth watching something, okay? So in this situation, we're talking, the it is la película, the movie. You would use vale la pena first in the beginning of the sentence, vale la pena, then add the verb, and then the noun. Vale la pena ver is the verb, and la película is the noun, okay? Vale la pena leer el libro. The book is worth reading, okay? So that's the little formula there if you want to use vale la pena as a part of a sentence. So if you want to add it to a sentence, just do it at the beginning and then add the rest. Interesting, huh? Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Now, the next example is, ¿vale la pena ir al museo? ¿Vale la pena ir al museo? Sí, vale la pena. ¿Vale la pena ir al museo? Sí, vale la pena. So this is like a short conversation, and it means, is it worth going to the museum? Yes, it is worth it. Okay? So essentially, that's what you're saying here. The question reads, vale la pena. Again, we have it at the beginning. Vale la pena, ... And that means, in a question, is it worth? Is it worth something? Okay? In this situation, we're adding a verb, ir, in the infinitive form, just like we did here. Okay? Ir means to go. Okay? In English, you need the gerund, going, just like we have it here. But in Spanish, we don't need the gerund. We need the infinitive form. Going to, ir a. Ir a means to go to. We have al, we have the letter L there, because if you have in Spanish, if you have a el, to the, you have the masculine article el, and you have right before the letter a, then that becomes al, okay? Al means to the, okay? Museo means museum, okay? Very similar, very similar. And then we have the answer. Yes, sí. Sí with an accent mark means yes. The pronunciation of sí without the accent mark and sí with the accent mark is the same, okay? So don't worry about it. The pronunciation is the same, but when you write it, you need to add the accent mark if you want to say yes. Sí. Vale la pena. We have the phrase here as again, and that means it is worth it. Okay? Or it's worth it. Excellent. So remember, vale la pena means it's worth it when you use it by itself. But if you use it as part of longer sentence, means it's worth and then the verb. It's worth and then the verb. Or if it's in a question, is it worth and then the verb. Okay? So, very important things to know. Huh? Very important things to know. Okay, do you guys have any questions? I love the emotes. Oh my goodness. Thank you. You're welcome, Janko Juan. Is it Hanko Juan? I mean, I'm hoping I'm saying your username well, correctly. Hello, this is Kodak. Hello, hola. What do you think of learning with comprehensible input? I mean, whatever works. I think when someone is learning anything, in this case, Spanish, it's whatever keeps you motivated, you know? If it's watching a movie in Spanish, reading some book in Spanish, interacting with others in Spanish. I mean, I think you should try a little bit of everything that can help you learn the language for sure. Welcome, by the way. Yes. Django Juan, Hanko Juan. Is it really necessary to write question mark in the beginning and end of a sentence? You know what? If you want to do it correctly, yes, you need to. I mean, if you care about grammar and, you know, I do. I personally do. But I know that a lot of Spanish speakers don't use the upside down question mark all the time, especially when texting or, you know, when just chatting on a live chat or something like that. I know that they don't do it. But if, for example, if you're writing an email to your boss in Spanish, maybe it's a good idea to do it. You know, I would use the upside down question mark in formal situations. And then if you're, you know, chatting with your friends and you want to be a bit informal, then you don't have to. But I mean, it's up to you. But grammatically, you need it. if you wanna have good grammar, then yes. But it's up to you, really. Great question, by the way. ¿De dónde eres? Do you go live a lot? No. Okay. That's quite a few questions. I'm from Mexico, okay, but I'm Mexican Canadian. I do live stream every week, and I'm not from Argentina. Thank you for the questions. Todavía estoy. Oh, by the way, yes, I live stream every week, but I do not have a day or time that I can give you or I can tell you, because I usually stream whenever I get a chance every week. So if you don't want to miss out my streams, you can just click on the bell icon next to the subscribe button and just turn all the notifications on, so YouTube lets you know every time I stream. Okay, you're welcome, Hanko Juan. Hassan, todavía estoy esperando que hagas una sesión sobre conozco. The verb conocer. Because I usually, every time I live stream, I focus on one verb and its different meanings, or I talk about different phrases that are commonly used in Spanish. So I do not do just like one specific word, unless it's a verb that has many meanings. But I don't know, maybe, did you check out if I have the verb? I don't know if you guys, or if you, Hassan, have browsed my channel. I have a bunch of different lessons there. Let me see really quickly before we move on. Let me see. Conocer. I'm pretty sure I have a video about it. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, I can do that. I can work on a lesson about conocer, the verb conocer. Conozco comes from conocer. So I can work on that for sure. Yeah, check it out. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's move on. Phrase number 3. Let's see what we have here. ¿Qué opinas? ¿Qué opinas? ¿Qué opinas? This is a question, a very good one, when you want to say, what do you think? What do you think? Tell me, what do you think? So if you want someone's opinion, this is the question that you need to ask. So you can be saying whatever you want, and then at the end, you can say, ¿Qué opinas? What do you think? Okay, so let's look at some examples using this question. ¿Pinto la pared azul o roja? ¿Pinto la pared azul o roja? ¿Qué opinas? ¿Pinto la pared azul o roja? ¿Qué opinas? ¿Qué opinas? So, should I paint the wall blue or red? What do you think? What do you think? Well. Someone wants to paint a wall. Pinto means, comes from the verb pintar, which means to paint. Okay, so I started off by saying pinto ... This is similar to saying, should I paint? Yo pinto. Okay, we don't need yo in questions. We need pinto. Okay, so you could say debería pintar which is the literal translation of should I paint. But Spanish speakers don't usually, yes, they can say debería pintar, but it's too long. So if you want to be quick and you just want to ask something right away, you can say the verb pinto dot dot dot. Okay, so you can use other verbs. For example, como el pastel o no? Should I eat the cake or not? So we started off by saying como, yo como, which is the verb, comes from the verb comer. Como, should I eat in this situation, if it's a question? Because como means I eat. Como pastel, I eat cake. Okay, so in a question, it's pretty much just a quick way to say, should I do this or maybe not? Especially if you want to say, should I do this or maybe not or not? Okay, so you're asking what you need to do. So in this situation, pinto means should I paint dot 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 the pared. Pared means wall. Okay. Azul. Azul means blue. Or roja. Roja means red. Why roja and not rojo? That's because pared is feminine. You always need to pay attention to the noun, to the subject, okay? Or noun. In this situation, pared is feminine, and that's why you need a feminine adjective, okay? Roja, 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 which means red. Azul, that one doesn't have a gender. So azul doesn't care if the noun is feminine or masculine. Azul is azul. La casa azul, the blue house. El carro azul, the blue car. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Azul stays like that. If it's plural though, then you need to say azules, azules, which means blue but plural. Okay, so we have right after that, ¿qué opinas? What do you think? ¿Qué opinas? By the way, opinas, tú opinas, you're asking this to one person, okay? You singular. We don't need tú in the question. We need the verb opinar, which means pretty much like to think when you are saying your opinion. Yo opino, I think, deberíamos, yo opino que deberíamos ir a comer. I think we should go eat somewhere, okay? But also, opinar means to give one's opinion, okay? So, very interesting. Que means what? Don't forget the accent mark when que is in a question, or when you use the exclamation marks as well. Okay. So that was the first example. Let's look at another example using ¿qué opinas? ¿Qué opinas? Okay. María, ¿qué opinas acerca de la economía? María, ¿qué opinas acerca de la economía? This means, Maria, what do you think about the economy? So now we're using ¿qué opinas not by itself. We are making it a part of a it's a question, but it's a longer question. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's see how it works. Maria, Maria, Maria means Maria. ¿Qué opinas? ¿Qué opinas? So that's the beginning of the question. ¿Qué opinas? That means, what do you think? When you add right after acerca de is similar to saying about. Some people, I mean, you can do two things here. You can say ¿qué opinas de? Just like that. And that means the same thing. What do you think about? ¿Qué opinas de la economía? What do you think about the economy? But you can also say ¿qué opinas acerca de? And it means the same thing. What do you think about something? In this situation, the economía, economy, okay? La economía, the economy. So you can use this phrase, this question, to ask specific things. ¿Qué opinas acerca de? And then you can change, for example, la economía, you can change it to, I don't know, ¿qué opinas de la comida? What do you think about the food? ¿Qué opinas de la película? What do you think about the movie? Okay, so endless things you can do here. You can ask someone's opinion about pretty much anything. And ¿qué opinas? Is just what you need to do that. So it's really good. It's really good. I really like this question. Excellent. Remember, ¿qué opinas? Means, what do you think? Excellent. Do you guys have any questions? No problem, Hassan. ¿Qué opinas de... ¿Qué opinas de? That's a great example. The only thing you're going to pay attention here is you can say, ¿qué opinas acerca de Justin Trudeau, for example, like you said, or ¿qué opinas sobre? But sobre it's more about things. ¿Qué opinas? Or situations. ¿Qué opinas sobre lo que hizo Justin Trudeau? Okay, ¿qué opinas? What do you think about what Justin Trudeau did? Okay, so it's more about situations. When you wanna, if you wanna ask about people, about even situations, about things and whatnot, then it's just easier to say ¿qué opinas acerca de? Okay, sobre can be used, but if you say ¿qué opinas sobre Justin Trudeau? It's a bit incomplete. It's a bit incomplete because you want to say something else, right? Sobre is more about situations. But also sobre means envelope, by the way. It's interesting. But if you want to just simplify it, you can say acerca de, or just de. De means the same thing in when you use ¿qué opinas de? Or ¿qué opinas acerca de? So what do you think about ... Excellent. Excellent. Any other question? My goodness. Okay. Do you live in Mexico or Canada? That's a lot of personal questions. This is Kodak. It's asking a lot of personal questions. But I've said before, and I'm just going to say it again, I live in Canada. I live in Canada. Oh, Canada. That's why I'm Mexican Canadian. Mexican Canadian. Okay. ¿Qué opinas acerca de Justin Trudeau? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Some people might say ¿qué opinas sobre Justin Trudeau? But I mean, a more accurate way to ask about someone, ¿qué opinas acerca de Justin Trudeau? Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. Now let's move on. Let's move on. Perfecto, perfecto. We have phrase number 4. Phrase number 4. Oops. And let's see. Frase número 4. Número 4. No tiene sentido. No tiene sentido. This is another good one. I really, I mean, I like more ¿qué opinas? The one that we learned a few minutes ago. But no tiene sentido is a great phrase if you want to say it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No tiene sentido. No means a bunch of things. No means don't, no, will not, or won't, didn't. Okay. It's very useful. It's very useful. So no in this situation means doesn't. Okay. Tiene comes from the verb tener, which means to have. So similar to saying, well, we don't have it here really because we're talking about the whole phrase. It's not a literal translation. So tiene means to have or has. In this situation, similar to saying it doesn't have or something like that. Sentido means sense. Okay? Sense. Oops. I missed an S. Sense. Sentido. Sentido can also mean when talking about hearing, talking, the senses. Hang on. Yeah, hearing or tasting, all those senses. You can call them sentido. Of course, you need to be specific. Sentido del oído. That means hearing, sense of hearing. Okay. Sentido del gusto. The tasting, the sense of tasting. Let me see. Okay. So touch also, what? I didn't know there were like 5 basic human senses. Touch, sight. Touch, I didn't know that was a sense. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't know. But yeah, touch, sight, hearing, smelling, and tasting. Those senses. I'm referring to those senses. So maybe in a future lesson we can talk about that, how to say all of them in Spanish. But the phrase no tiene sentido, let's focus on that, means it doesn't make sense. Okay? It doesn't make sense. You can use it by itself. You can say this to just as a phrase, you know, you just want to say, it doesn't make sense. No tiene sentido. You can say it just like that. Or it can be part of a whole sentence. So let's look at some examples using this phrase. Lo que dices no tiene sentido. Lo que dices no tiene sentido. This means it doesn't make sense what you're saying. Okay? That's essentially what you're saying here, what we're saying here. So let's break this down. Let's see how it works. Lo can mean it. Okay? Lo has a few meanings, a few meanings for sure. It can be a pronoun and it means it. It can mean him. It can mean you in formal situations. And also it can refer to other things like just it or stuff. So it depends how you use it. And it's a really helpful pronoun for sure. But when you say lo que, it's like saying what you're saying, okay? So let me just remove this here because we're not referring to that it, we're referring to what. Lo que means what, that as a phrase. You can say, lo que me gusta es salir de vacaciones. What I like is going on vacation, okay? Going somewhere on vacation. So it's, you usually use it at the beginning of phrases to say what I like, what I hate, what I'm gonna do. So that's what you're saying here. And lo que is useful for those situations, just to say what, ... It's not like a question or anything like that. It's just something that you're gonna say something about what you like, you hate, or something that you're gonna do in general. Lo que voy a hacer, what I'm gonna do. Lo que quiero comer, what I wanna eat. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Lo que is a very interesting phrase, and we can talk about it in a future lesson, but it's really useful for sure. Lo que tú dices, we don't need tú, we need dices. Dices comes from the verb decir, which means to say. So dices means you're saying or you say, okay? But I mean, it makes more sense to say you're saying, okay? In this situation, lo que dices, what you're saying. We don't need you here, remember. We don't have tú. We don't have that. But this part, lo que dices, means what you're saying, okay? And then we have the verb that we're learning. No tiene sentido. It doesn't make sense. Okay? So you can do two things here. You can say, lo que dices no tiene sentido, or no tiene sentido lo que dices. So it can be either way. No tiene sentido can go at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. Okay? So keep that in mind. It's flexible. It's flexible for sure. Okay. The next example. Let's look at the next example using no tiene sentido. By the way, if you want to say the opposite, it makes sense. Just remove no. You can say, tiene sentido lo que dices, or lo que dices tiene sentido. And that means what you're saying makes sense. Okay, so it's the opposite. The opposite. That's quite interesting, for sure. Okay, let's look at the next example. Mhm. Let's see what we have here. No tiene sentido gastar tanto dinero en eso. No tiene sentido gastar tanto dinero en eso. This means it doesn't make sense to spend that much money on that, whatever that means. We could be talking about phones, cars, anything that can be expensive. Very expensive. Muy caro. Okay. No tiene sentido. As you can see here, we have the phrase we're learning at the beginning of the sentence. It doesn't make sense. Gastar, if you want to add a verb right after no tiene sentido, you can add it in the infinitive form. So do not conjugate the verb. Do not conjugate the verb. I'm sorry, I need some water. Do not conjugate the verb. So just keep it as is. Okay. Gastar means to spend. Okay. So no tiene sentido. If you want more, specifically a verb, it's like saying it doesn't make sense to, and then add the verb. In this case, gastar, spend. Okay. Tanto means that much. Okay. That much. Dinero, money. Tanto can also be feminine. Tanta comida, so much food. So it can also mean that much food. But tanto is a little flexible. It can mean that much or so much. Te amo tanto. I love you so much. Okay. So tanto can mean so much or that much. Dinero, money. En has many meanings. It can mean in, on, at. So in this situation means on. Eso means that. You can literally use eso just to show someone what you want. Eso, that. Okay, so eso is another great word to learn in Spanish. And interesting that you can use this phrase, no tiene sentido, just to say it doesn't make sense. Okay? The opposite is tiene sentido. It makes sense. So remember that. It's a good one for sure. Do you guys have any questions? Let me see. Okay. Lumify. Can tiene be replaced by hace? As in, no hace sentido. No. No hace sentido. No. That's incorrect. You cannot replace tiene. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, some people say hace sentido, but it's not a common thing to say. The correct way is tiene sentido. It's the most common way to say it makes sense, or no tiene sentido, it doesn't make sense. Hace sentido, I believe I've heard it before, but not as much as the other one. Not as much as tiene sentido or no tiene sentido. Yeah. Great question. Thank you. Okay. Any other question? Okay, let's move on. Okay. The last phrase, guys, phrase number 5, frase número 5 is me da igual. Me da igual. This one, man, use with caution. It's all I'm gonna say. Use with caution because it all depends on the attitude, how you say it, the tone. The tone matters here. You can use it just to say something very that you really don't care. You know, you don't care if you eat certain thing. You can even, it's similar to saying, I don't care, surprise me. You know, it can be like that, or it can be used in a very rude way just to say, I don't care. I don't care. Okay. So be careful. Tone and attitude, that matters when saying this phrase. The meaning of this phrase is, it doesn't matter to me, or I don't care. Okay, so it's not like, of course, there's different ways to say this in Spanish. I don't care. No me importa. You can say that as well. But a common one and a very good one is this one. Me da igual. Me da igual. Doesn't matter to me. Don't care. Okay. So me can mean a few things. But me is a pronoun, a reflexive pronoun, and it can mean me, okay, or I in some situations. Me gusta el chocolate. I like chocolate, okay. In this situation, of course, we're not gonna translate this literally, but I just wanted to know what me means. Da comes from the verb dar, and that means to give. Okay? Igual means the same. So this one is quite interesting because it can mean equal or the same or identical. Okay? The same, identical. You can even use it by itself to say same. Same sis. You know, when you agree with someone, igual, right? But you can even say, las dos manzanas son iguales. The two apples are the same. Okay, so it can be plural, iguales, igual. So this is an interesting word for sure. Me da igual as a phrase, you know, it means it doesn't matter to me or I don't care. So let's look at some examples using this common phrase. Oops. Me da igual si voy o me quedo. Me da igual si voy o me quedo. Tú dime, ¿qué te gustaría? Me da igual si voy o me quedo. Tú dime, ¿qué te gustaría? Okay, it's a long phrase, long sentence rather, and this means it doesn't matter to me if I go or stay. You tell me, what would you like? So you don't want to decide. You don't want to decide because it really doesn't matter. You're okay with either. So you can use the phrase me da igual if you want to say something like this, that you don't care really what to do. So let's break this down. Me da igual. Me da igual. It doesn't matter to me. Si, you're given two options here. Okay, these two. Si means if. Voy, yo voy, I go. We don't need yo, by the way. Or, sorry, my leg fell asleep. It's just, oh my, okay. Or, I'm trying not to think about it. I'm trying to move it, but it's just a little, oh my God, it's just, never mind. Sorry. Sorry about that. Or, yo me quedo. We don't need yo. We need me quedo. And that means stay. Okay, I stay. Essentially, that's what you're saying. You can even say me quedo by itself, and it means I'm staying. Okay, I'm staying. Me quedo. Tú dime. Tú, you. You can not say tú, by the way, here. You can say dime. Okay, but I have it there because yes, even though we don't use personal pronouns too often, we sometimes do. we almost never use personal pronouns, but yeah, it happens once in a while. we can say personal pronouns. Tú, you, dime, tell me. Tú dime, you tell me. Me, by the way, me means me. You can add reflexive pronouns. You can pretty much just attach them to verbs. So di, tú, di is the verb and it means to tell. It's conjugated, of course. Decir is the whole verb. But decir means to tell. Di is used for tú di me, you tell me. Tú dile, you tell him or her. Tú dinos, you tell us or just tell us, okay? Dinos, tell us. So yeah, you can add reflexive pronouns to verbs. You can attach them to them. Anyways, we are just saying here, you tell me. Tú dime. Que means what. Te, it's another reflexive pronoun and it means you. Gustaría, like, would like. Gustaría means would like. ¿Qué te gustaría? What would you like? Okay, tell me, dime. Excellent. So as you can see, you can use me da igual just to say, I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. You decide for me, or what would you like? Okay. So remember, tone, attitude, context matters. Because if you tell this person, if this person is asking you, are you going with me? Vas conmigo? And you say, me da igual. That means I don't care, right? And it can be a little rude. It can be a little rude, especially if the other person wants you to go to some place special, and you say I don't care. Well, that can cause problems for sure. Anyways, let's move on. Let's look at the last example. My leg feels better now. It's good. Excellent. The next example is, ¿quieres helado de chocolate o de vainilla? Me da igual. Me da igual. Let's just add the period here. Me da igual. I would say more. Me da igual. Me da igual. Me da igual. Yeah. Anyways, so this means, do you want chocolate or vanilla ice cream? I don't care. So it can be a dialogue, it's more like a dialogue. Someone's asking you, do you want chocolate or vanilla ice cream? And then the other person says, or you say, me da igual. Oh, I don't care. Oh boy, I would care if I had to choose between the two. I would choose chocolate for sure. ¿Quieres? ¿Quieres? This is a great word that means, do you want? Just remember, it's a question. So if you want to ask, do you want something in Spanish, you can say quieres, ... You can add nouns right after. You can add verbs right after. So it's up to you what you want to say. If you add a verb, use it or add it in the infinitive form. ¿Quieres comer helado? Do you want to eat ice cream? ¿Quieres helado de chocolate? Helado means ice cream, by the way. Helado, ice cream. When you say helado de, you're just about to say the flavor, okay, of the ice cream. Helado de chocolate, helado de vainilla, helado de... What other flavor do? I don't eat ice cream really often. Helado de... fresa. Strawberry ice cream, okay? So remember that, helado de. If you want to say the flavor, don't forget to say helado de ice cream, or you're about to say the flavor chocolate. That means chocolate ice cream. Helado de chocolate, chocolate ice cream. O de vainilla. O de, you don't have to say again ice cream o helado de vainilla. You can just say de. O de vainilla. You're referring to the ice cream, of course, or vanilla ice cream. Okay? So you can just add de. O de. O means or, of course, and then the flavor, de vainilla. You can even answer if you really care about what you want. If you don't want to say me da igual, you can say just de vainilla as an answer. ¿Quieres helado de chocolate o de vainilla? Answer, de vainilla. Okay, you don't have to say quiero un helado de vainilla. Too long. That you're essentially saying I want vanilla ice cream. Too long. You can just say the flavor, but just add de before. De chocolate. Okay, so that's a perfect answer. De chocolate. And then, well, in this situation, this person said, me da igual. I don't care. Okay, me da igual. I don't care. I would say surprise me, right? But surprise me in Spanish, it's not a common expression. You cannot say really like sorpréndeme. You could. People will understand what you're saying, but it's not a common expression. I haven't heard it in Spanish. In English, of course, surprise me, right? It's a good expression. Anyways, so me da igual means it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But one thing you need to care about is how you say this. Use with caution. Context matters. Attitude matters. Tone matters, as I said before. So, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Do you have any questions? uh, that first sentence has a lot of attitude. Yeah, yeah. That one, that first sentence, the first one. Yeah, I mean, voy, me da igual si voy o me quedo. This first one, right? Yeah, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun expression, a fun phrase if you know how to use it, of course. But if you, I would use this phrase just among friends, among family, not in, in a formal situation, right? But if someone says that to you in Spanish, now you know. Now you know what it means. So, sin aquí, no problema. Gracias. No problema. No hay problema. Sin aquí. Sin aquí, I'm not sure what you mean, but you're welcome. But you're welcome. De nada. Lindsay, por si acaso, si alguna perdemos un live stream, siempre podemos volver a ver las lecciones anteriores. Vale la pena. Mm-hmm. You know it. You know it, Lindsay. Thank you so much. And yes, you can watch the stream after I'm done with the stream. It stays on the channel. So whenever you want to watch it, whenever you feel like watching the stream, or you essentially can't just watch the stream later on. Yeah. Me da igual si voy al trabajo porque estoy muy cansado. Perfect. Just remember al trabajo, because essentially you were saying a el trabajo, or you can say me da igual si voy a trabajar. That can also work. Or me da igual si voy al trabajo porque estoy muy cansado. Yeah, it's a good example. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Is it correct to say sin aquí? That means not here. Sin means without. Without. Or if you say, for example, to a waitress, sin hielo, that means two things. It can mean two things. One, no ice, or without ice. Okay, so sin, if you want to say not here, aquí no. Aquí no. So you can say that. Actually, that's a good expression. That means not here. Aquí no. Aquí and then no. N-O. No. Aquí no. Not here. Sin aquí is not a phrase because sin means without. So essentially you're saying without here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But thank you for asking. And by the way, welcome, great at work. Welcome. Welcome. Got it. Gracias. De nada. De nada. Okay. I gotta go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We learned 5 different phrases very commonly used in Spanish. They're really good. And we saw some examples. We looked at some examples and we learned how to use the phrases, and we learned about other words and phrases in Spanish. So remember that I live stream every week. So if you don't want to miss out my streams, you can click on the bell icon next to the subscribe button and turn all the notifications on. So YouTube lets you know every time I live stream. I have a Spanish community on Discord, so you can join for free. You can find the link in the description down below. Also remember to subscribe. If you like this lesson, please give it a like. That helps me a lot. And yeah, I'll see you next time, next week. I hope you liked the stream. It was a good one, right? A nice one. Hello, Clement. Okay, gotta go. Take care. Muchas gracias por ver este en vivo. Nos vemos a la próxima. I'll see you next time. Bye. Adiós.